It's page 350. I can't remember the name. The number. Oh, chapter 19. Sorry.
How does the book rated?
Oh, it's very common.
Okay.
With my return to the Catholic Church, I committed to a personal path of honesty and social justice activism. It would have been tidy and convenient if all my behaviors had immediately followed suit, but lives never change in an instant for good or ill, except in novels and films. In real life, change is often gradual and slow, if at all. That was the story with my drinking. After my reconversion in Paris, I drank a little less, though, with a much better attitude. I still drank a lot of beer, but my drink of choice in the 1980s was Irish coffee. Oi, which is essentially a cappuccino mixed with a couple of shots of whiskey. It was an upper and a downer at the same time, strong enough to get me drunk, but caffeinated enough to keep me alert for driving home. The coffee masked the taste of the alcohol, and sometimes I would down 6 or 8 Irish coffees back to back without realizing how much whiskey I'd consumed. I would have terrible hangovers the next day, of course. In 1989, I played the father in Shattered Spirits, a TV movie for ABC about an alcoholic named Lyle Mullenkamp, whose drinking and domestic violence spiral out of control to the point where he loses his wife and 3 kids and is forced to join Alcoholics Anonymous to regain the privilege of seeing them. The job happened to come along at a time when I was drinking heavily, but I couldn't see myself in that character. Talk about denial. I was drinking for every scene, and a couple got more than usual. For a scene where Lyle gets swacked and mows the hell out of the front lawn in the middle of the night, I really had a fun time out there with the lawnmower. I wasn't out of control or falling down. I was just being my alcoholic self. Vincent Canby of the New York Times said I portrayed Lyle with chilling conviction, which may well have been true. Doesn't it often take one to know one? Still, when I saw that film on TV a few months later, it didn't motivate me to quit drinking. A few years later, I was filming at Universal Studios, and at the end of a workday, I stopped at a bar with a few friends for a drink on my way home. Afterwards, I got in my car and took the Ventura Freeway, heading to Malibu. I don't know how long the sheriff's cruiser was following me, but at some point, I noticed the flashing lights in my rearview mirror and pulled over to the shoulder of the road. A young deputy sheriff got out of his car and approached my driver's window. "Officer," I said, "your license, please." I fumbled around in my pocket for my wallet. My driver's license has my real name, Ramon Esteves, which sometimes causes confusion or problems. I handed the license to the officer who took it back to his car. When he returned, he said, quote, "This is your real name, but you're that actor, Martin Sheen, aren't you?" "Yes, I am," I said. He stared at me for a long moment, and when he spoke, his voice was thick with disappointment. "I used to admire you," he said. He spit the words out with such disgust. "But I don't want to see you ever again. You know you're drunk. Get the hell off the road and get some coffee and don't ever do this again," unquote. As he walked back to his car, I rested my forehead on the steering wheel. I was a man in my 40s, a husband, a father of 4, a grandfather of 3, a successful actor. What was I doing? The disappointment and shame the officer conveyed became my own. That brief encounter gave me a shocking look at who I'd become and what I didn't want to be. Regrettably, I didn't stop drinking that night and wouldn't stop for another few months. But the officer's personal outrage was a pivotal moment that helped me push in that direction. I never forgot it, and I never drank and drove again. I finally stopped drinking in December of 1989, and it goes on. But that was a signpost along the way that got my attention. And at any rate, it's interesting to read.